After losing my grandfather, I think realistically I'd stopped growing. I stopped developing as a person. By the time I was 18, 19, most of the pastimes that I loved, music, uh, rugby, were all gone. The only thing I really wanted to do was consume alcohol. It was the only interest I really had, and that was even with the fact that I was still with in relationships with people. I think I'd begun living the routine of life, living unconsciously. Get out of bed in the morning, go to work, leave work, go to the pub, go to bed, and repeat. And that just got worse over time. And life, as that went on, life just got gradually worse and worse. The relationships had fallen apart. I didn't know how to deal with people. I said I didn't know how to deal with myself. I was reacting to people unconsciously. I couldn't or wasn't working out and thinking consciously about anything that people were doing or saying. I was just simply reacting, which is I think what a lot of people do, and it really doesn't add to any enjoyment of your own life when you're in that constant state of reaction. I understand the stress response when we are in flight or fight. This is how we act. But if we become conscious, we can actually stop that cycle because it is a very negative cycle. And in the end, life becomes a disaster zone because that's all we are doing is reacting to people and fighting people, having to win, being competitive, which is what I was. I was highly competitive and always remember being competitive, always wanting to win, not in a healthy way at all. I think that's one thing that cycling did for me, aside from the riding up Mont Ventoux, which was amazing, and it did really put to bed a lot of beliefs I had about myself, with the worthlessness and that I am useless and the negative self-talk, which I'll talk about again. To get to the top of that mountain was a massive feat, which spurred me on to do so much more in life. But as I carried on cycling, I wanted to be the fastest, and I wanted to ride further, and I wanted to climb higher. And there are guys out there far stronger than me. But it's something that I really had to get out of my system, because now I understand that being that person that's what put me in a hospital bed. Continually fighting these people in the working environment, and not actively fighting them, passively fighting them, never backing down to their demands that I fall in line with what they wanted me to do. In essence, they were trying to control me. And I understand myself, as I've said, my personality type, and that's the biggest thing is the control. I just cannot put up with somebody that tries to control me. I'll run the other way or fight in any possible way I can to get away from it. This obviously is something I needed to address, because if you'll go that far, and not everyone is the same, but if you'll go that far that you'll allow that to put you into a hospital bed simply because you're not being controlled by anybody, you have to get over that competitiveness, because life isn't, I don't believe it is about competitiveness. And from what I've read, survival of the strongest is incorrect anyway. We are here to help each other, I believe, which is what I really, really want to do. Because life should be enjoyable. It shouldn't be a constant fight. We should be helping each other out and doing things for each other and seeing other people and helping other people smile, and we should be loving each other. And we don't see an awful lot of that going on in society. That's all I see is fear and anger and judgment. And it's not very good for other people in our environment, and it's not very good for ourselves. We don't understand this. The more that we act in that way, the more negativity is within us, which isn't healthy for us. And we are affecting ourselves chemically. We are in a constant stress response. 75+% of people in Western society are living in chronic stress, and we can put an end to that. But we have to become conscious. We have to start thinking about what we're doing, which leads us to becoming happier people that can deal with situations, whatever they are, because we don't run off and think, oh, the worst is going to happen, worst case scenarios, which is the world I lived in was that. I wasn't confident enough to go out and do anything because I didn't believe in myself. And I always thought the worst case scenario would come about. So I was stuck in this loop, which eventually turned into a spiral of drinking, hating, anger, not sleeping, not eating, killing myself. And for what? Realistically, we have to have a good look at ourselves and as I've said in an earlier video, we have to really decide what we want out of life. Becoming conscious is a big step to really having an idea of, not control is the wrong word, but point yourselves in the right direction by thinking about what we're doing.